Hi guys, how are you today? Audio Tia Jolly. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. Whichever part of the country you are in, it rained today morning. For the guys that don't know, today is 23rd of November 2024. It's just a week away and we'll be in December. So we have a month and a couple of days to conclude 2024. I hope that the year went well, the goals you set at the beginning of the year. For the love of cars, we have a practice at the beginning of the year. We talk about what we intend to achieve. Of course, some of us have never met. Yes, we have never met, but we talk about it. We talk about what do I want to achieve virtually. People set their goals, and I hope you set your goals as they are begun, and that now your goals have gone. If you have not achieved like 30%, it's definitely okay. So I'm called Arthur, and this is the weekly car roundup. This is episode 3. I love cars. Give me a chance to choose between something and a car. It might be a house. Chances are high I might choose a car. Yeah, so many people would choose a car, but of course then it depends which car. Motor car. So this is week 3. This is episode 3 car weekly roundup. We're going to have a car tip. We'll have a comparison. We're going to compare two versions of the same car, and then we'll figure out which version you should be buying and why you should be buying what. And today we're going to be looking at the Toyota Regius. Mujimanyi, it's one of those cars that you can get on a budget. Of course, when it's in diesel, it's a little bit more expensive than when it's in petrol. And yeah, and then when it's in petrol for city driving, it lasts a little longer. We're going to be now. And then of course, yesterday, which was 22nd November, General Andrew Guti, who is from the court martial, you guys know him. They're very popular, sentencing people, Baba Sive, Baba Sanzene Mundu, and all that. And then there's been a lot of controversy, and Tebaba, and then we have a bit of a Tesla owner that is charging on the road using a generator. The ambulance, a motor car. That's what they have told me. It's an ambulance of a car, and they were charging it on the roadside. And then the thing happens. We should be asking the question of, yes, we are buying EVs to be friendly for the environment, but if I'm going to be driving on Masaka Road and around PG I run out of charge and I have to call an ambulance to come and charge me, yet that ambulance is using diesel or petrol, am I still saving the environment or not? But we're going to be talking about that. Yeah, so let's get into it. The EV market is being affected right now. Of course, we have a limited demand in EVs, and then of course Chinese makers are making a lot of EVs. Chinese have been known for duplicating stuff. Like you make a microphone like this, then the Chinese make a copy. This was definitely made in China. The camera we're using was made in China. The lights we're using, wherever they were made in China. We cannot dispute that. Even the things that we think are original, most of them were assembled in China. But what the Chinese are doing right now with the EVs is they're making very good, very reliable, very strong EVs, and they're selling them very cheaply. So this is affecting a lot of car manufacturers. For example, Volkswagen is closing up to 3 factories, and they're cutting 10% salary or wages over 120,000 employees of theirs. And that's a very big thing. Like if you're earning 1 million and then your boss comes 1 in the morning and says, that's big. So they are cutting 10%. 10% actually be mitwaro kumi. So we are cutting a mitwaro kumi from your money. Majority of the time you'll find yourself mitwaro kumi jo saving. That's the only money you're saving. And then this guy comes out and says, you know what? We are cutting your money. So that's what happened with Volkswagen, and they're citing things like inconsistencies in the demand. The demand is not there. And of course the Chinese guys are affecting. They have affected Volkswagen. They have even affected Ford. Ford is laying off up to 4,000 employees in Europe, in the European factories. Bagenda kulayinga off abantu banji nnyo because bagamba there is no market for EVs. And apart from the market for EVs, bagamba n'aba China bakola imotoka eziri very, very, very cheap. And of course, but this is only in Europe. This is only in Europe, of course. And then of course, the UK government had but setting the target. They had told car sellers that, you know what, you need to sell 22% of the cars you sell. They need to be EVs, cars, normal cars. The Teslas and all. Mutunde EVs 22%. And then if you're selling vans, let them be 10%. And I think ngabateka on the penalty sebo. If you sell 100 cars and then 22% are not EVs, they fine you. You sell 100 vans and 10 of them are not EVs, they fine you. But right now, the government is considering like reducing on the targets because they are a little high. And one of the reasons I believe is because EVs are quite expensive to buy. You'll see with these small cars that the Chinese are bringing here to Uganda. There was a van that I did a review on. If you haven't seen it, go ahead in the videos down, and then watch it. And then there was like a small, tiny car. We went and shot it. The cameraman I worked with that day lost the footage. And then those small Chinese cars, they are in sort of like a barracks of sorts, so you cannot just go and enter, so we could not get the footage again. And so Chinese are making, and those small cars are like 60 million, and then the van that I reviewed, which is on this channel, is, they say about 120 million, which is quite high. And for 120 million, someone can imagine and could say that with 120 million, if I use 40 million shillings, I will be buying 3 chigeges, and each of the 3 chigeges will be giving me 100k every day. So that's 300,000 shillings. Even if one of them died totally, I would still have 2 chigeges on the road. And then you're telling me to buy 1 car, which I can only charge properly from your charging stations, and you're telling me to buy it at 120 million. So I find that one of the biggest challenges that EVs are facing everywhere globally would be the cost of buying. But of course now they're affecting so many factories, and many car makers were shifting to making EVs. Yeah, to making EVs. We have not seen an EV from a major manufacturer here in Uganda. Like we've saw the Nissan Leaf definitely, but we've not seen one from Toyota. We have not seen one from Mitsubishi. The guys. We have not seen one from Kia. The guys that are making, apart from the Nissan Leaf, which I find that is performing very well. But I would definitely manage the EV if they were affordable. If like EVs were at 30-40 million shillings, I think that people would buy them. And this is probably something the government here in Uganda and other governments should look into. Like if you made a brand new EV very affordable for me, there is no reason why I'm going to go and buy the IST at 38 million shillings if I can use 40 million shillings to get a car that almost looks like it and I don't have to put fuel. So that's something that the government should consider. All right, locally, I came across a report by the Uganda National Institute of Public Health. Uganda National Institute of Public Health is by government here, and of course, one of the roles that these people do, they monitor trends, abantu bafachi, barwala bichi, birwadde ki ebibakyawankalanya, and all that. And now they have a report on the Ugandan traffic and road injuries, traffic and road accidents by in a report and Bajikora between 2020 and 2023. I find that this is very important, especially coming from a person that is normally encouraging you guys to buy cars. And this report tells us how many accidents has happened in 2020, how many happened in 2021, how many happened in 2022 and 2023. And they even mention the causes. For example, we have motor vehicles. These are cars. Yeah, we have motorcycles, and motorcycles, I'm sure, tricycles, tukutuku. We have bicycles, yeah, and then of course we have the guys that die because they are pedestrians, and then we have those reports. But before I delve into the figures, I want us to note one thing, that this report also notes that there are so many people that die of road accidents and injuries way after the accidents happened, and most of these deaths are not reported. Now, what this report gets, where the research gets data from, it got the data from hospitals. The hospitals countrywide have a database. Every time a sick person or a person that has been involved in a road accident is brought into a hospital, they fill that information into that system countrywide, and then again information netambula netuuka in a central place obasobola ogenda ne bagiraba ne balaba emulago ensambya in this place bafunye abantu abagudde ku accident 10 bafunye bwe bati yabadde ku boda yabadde ku gaali yabadde atambuza bigere. So they have that report. Kati mwe yo report mwe bajje ne bagenda ko ne ku police stations and bafuna reports ne bagatta information eno ne basobola tuwa reports. So they are telling us that waliwo abantu abamu abafa afterwards. For example, their reports accident has been reported nti omuntu atomedde owe boda eyo mu kyalo eyo munda teri police eri kumpi, so babimalira eyo ku kyalo ne kiggwa So the police would never know about it. So these figures are quite accurate, but they are not as accurate as we should want them to be. Chitegeza, a lot more people die of border accidents, a lot more people die of auto accidents, a lot more people die with bicycles hitting them. Naenga, these accidents or injuries are never reported because teri police egenda kujagama hamu tuwandikane yafudde ani yatomedani okitegeera. But still I find that this report is fairly good. It can help guide us, and for you guys abatanagula moroka eno report egenda kubeeba yambako olabe oba ogule moroka oba tojigula. Just to start, it's for us to understand that between 2015 and 2023, people that got injuries from accidents that were caused by motorcycles significantly increased. Significantly increased. Yet the people that got injuries caused by other motor vehicles, those are trucks, those are vans, those are taxis, those are motor cars like my small Victs. So those injuries significantly went down up to 2023, and they're still dipping. Yet the motorcycle injuries keep going up. So and also one thing that we need to note is that there are more males abasajja abagenda mu getting involved in accidents banji nnyo ku bakazi. Abakazi batonoko abafira mu accident atokusinga abasajja. That's probably something that we need to note, because I find that abasajja turiskinga nnyo, tutambula nnyo, tulinnya nnyo boda, era mukyala wo ne bw'aba alinnye boda nga naawe olinnye boda, the chances of your girlfriend or wife dying of a border accident are less than the chances of you dying of a border accident. And of course it comes because kizibu nnyo kusanga mukazi nga apapye wa boda yangwa bindeka, yet it's very easy for you to find a man nga apapa. Ne mu motoka mwennyini abasajja abafa motor accidents banji ku bakazi abafa motor accidents. Probably another thing for us to note in this report is that in all the accidents ezibedawo more passengers than drivers die. Kitegeeza ki abantu bwe tuba tuna akabenje obubenje ne bwawo 100 abantu ne bafa 100 nkaaga oba nsanvu kubafudde baba basaabaze ne bwebera moroka. When an accident happens, the passengers die, the driver might not die. Okujja ku accident ebadde fatal ate the driver agenda okufanga n'abalala bafudde bangi. For example, the accident that happened on the Gulu highway around you have just gone near what's that school? It's after a little bit before Bombo, and a taxi got into a crash with the Fuso. When that happened, 6 people died. The Fuso driver survived, the taxi driver died, and 5 other people who were passengers in the taxi died. What does that mean? That the driver might die, but the driver doesn't die alone. And this might be because the driver sees the accident happening and they try. Sometimes they jump out, sometimes they uchitegera betaasa mangu bwatasobodde kubataasa. But majority of the time passengers die faster than so annual incidents of road traffic injuries and associated deaths among males and females, different age categories. So when we look at out of 100,000 accidents or injuries, 250 in 2020 were male, 149 were female. In 2020, 221 were male, 139 were female. In 2022, 205 were male, 148 were female. In 2023 were 221 were male, 140 were female. Bwe twogera ku myaka 20 paka 2023 report ene tugamba bweti nti bwe tubeera ne road injuries accident ezibadde nti abantu bafunye obuvune mu accident mu 20 ku bantu ku accident abantu buli bantu emitwalo 10 abasajja 225 be bafuna accident, abakyala 149. Mu 2021 abasajja 221 abakyala bali 139. Mu 2022 abasajja 205 abakyala 148. Mu 2023 abasajja 221 abakyala bali 140 be bafuna accident. Okitegeera kati ate abali mu boda accident obaje bayita motorcycle, mu motorcycle accidents abasajja bali 141 abafuna accident ezo abali affected mu 220 naye abakyala bali 77 mu 221 abasajja bali 123 abakyala bali 71 mu 222 abasajja bafuna accident za boda boda bali 17 abakazi bali 69 mu 223 abasajja bali 24 abakyala bali 71. So now motorcycle accidents or road traffic injuries due to motorcycles. Note this because this is very important for us as I encourage you guys to buy cars. In 2020, 141 males were affected by road traffic injuries due to motorcycles, yet it was only 77 women. In 2021, it was 123 males, yet it was 71 females. In 2022, it was 117 males, yet it was 69 females. In 2023, it was 124 males and 71 females. So the average is 77 something females that get involved in accidents annually out of 100,000. Yet it's the number doubles when you go to males. So we need to be very careful. Like I said, abachala tebapapya nyo ba boda era ebiseera esinga abachala balinya boda genda katale genda wali. It's us the men abalinya boda tugende ntwalako emukono ntwalako erugazi ntwalako wa. And I also find that when boda guys are riding bavuga abachala babavuga n'obwegendeza bulungi omu avuga mukwana negwa akwagaza ki tewasaze birevu oliawo totegerekeka tebalina kyakwagaza. So the boda accidents kati ate bwe tulaba deaths still more men die because of road traffic injuries than females. For example, 17 in 2020 bali basajja, 9.4 bali bakazi. In 2021, 14 basajja bafa, 7.2 bakazi bafa. Mu 2022, 12 abasajja bafa, 6.2 bafa bali bakazi. Mu 2023, 11 bali basajja, 5.8 bali bakazi. So what does this tell us? That the accidents on the road affect everyone. Accidents okubo fenazi to affecting and abasajja tuli affected nnyo. Probably one of the reasons lwaki abasajja batono ku bakazi. Nze ngina vuga emotoka, I'm going to drive my car everywhere. Now let's just look at the figures where they tell us how many people died because of what cause. And the causes in mulimu motor vehicles, mulimu motorcycles, mulimu bicycles and pedestrians, yeah? Kati bwebabala for example in 2022 abantu abafuna the traffic injuries in the country in 2020 this is according to the report bafuna injuries 158,390 people were involved in road traffic accidents and they got injuries. However, bwetugamba bwetutunulira emmotoka pichi ne bicycles ne pedestrians, the most accidents were caused by motorcycles. Out of the 158,390 people that were involved in accidents, 85,106 were from borders or motorcycles. I'm calling everything borders because they all ride the same. No sango omuntu nga avuga pichi ya state house avuganga muyayi. So 85,000 were caused by motorcycles. 25,914 were caused by motor vehicles, and 13,820 were caused by bicycles, and 33,550 people died or got accidents because they were walking. So more people get accidents from walking than from driving. What does that tell you? Drive everywhere. But that's 2022. Let's look at 2021. And of course, in 2020, 54% of the accidents were due to borders. Yeah? 21% were due to walking. Now, this is my interpretation. Yeah? Only 16% were due to driving. But dire mu Uganda, kakati mu 2020 twafuna accident ez'okukubo emitwalo 15 mu 8 mu 3 mu 9 naye nga ebitundu 54 ku buli 100 ku accident ezaaliwo zaava ku pikipiki oba bodaboda, era abantu 8,800 mu 15,116 be bafuna accident nga bali ku piki. Abantu 3,355 baali batambula. Abantu 2,514 be baali bavuga. Then ab'eggaali baali 1,382. Kitegeeza ki? Nti abantu bangi mu 2 baafa olw'okutambuza ebigere okusinga abaali mu mmotoka. So in actual sense in 2020 ate nga eyo yali lockdown emmotoka tazali tezitambula. Naye tugende mu maaso tutunulire emyaka ejaddako. And by the way, for you to understand, on average abantu abatambuza ebigere bafiira mu 3,000 awo, 3,2, 3,3, 3,4. Era kati mu 2022 in 2021 we registered, these are people that total accidents. And of course, in 2020, the total accidents were 158,390. The ones that went to hospital were 46,679. So it means many more people died in accidents, because if 158 people get accidents and only 46 go to the hospital, where did the other people go? They died. So be careful. 2021, we had 163,815 road traffic accidents, and only 53,560 were admitted in hospitals. 53% of those accidents were caused by bodas or motorcycles. 19% came from cars. 21% still people walking. Now I don't know. And then bicycle brought 8%. Then when we go to 2022, the road traffic accidents that were reported are 155,988. 53% of those were bodas. Hey, of course, this year then the pedestrians did not die a lot. 19%. Then 21% from cars and 7% from cycling. When we go to 2023, which is next, 160,969 accidents were reported. Reported as in at police. The people that were admitted to the hospitals are 58,780. 55% of those accidents came from bodas or motorcycles. 21% from walking pedestrians. 17% motor vehicles, and of course 7% from bicycles. What does that tell us, guys? That tells us that, and this is the research. This is my interpretation of the research. Now, the people that did the research and wrote this report can come out and tell us what their take is. But my interpretation, what this means is that we need reforms in the Traffic and Road Safety Act to adapt to the times. Bodas should be recognized as bodas. Government motorcycles should be recognized as government motorcycles. Ngababogera ku accidents neza pichi. Bajawula no jawula. Nti eno yabadde pichi ya government. Eno yabadde pichi ya wananyini. Eno yabadde boda. So that we don't, because when I look at boda accidents here killing or injuring 55% of the total accidents that happen in the country. Now, one thing you need to understand is that these are the causes. People got accidents because they were there. That means that's the thing that caused their accidents. So what my interpretation is that in Uganda currently, according to the report, and I just want to make sure that you understand that the report is not in my mind. It was compiled by the Uganda National Institute of Public Health. Okay? And these guys, one of the duties they do is to monitor trends to see what is going on in the country and see how they can solve the problems that might arise. Yeah, so kitegeeze kino ekitongole ky'amaanyi nnyo mu ggwanga. Ekitongole kino mu report gye kyakola kiraga nti you are more at risk of getting injured in a road accident if you are walking than if you are driving. You are more prone to getting accidents if you use a boda than if you're driving. So that's something that we probably have to understand. And of course, when you look at the percentages of the people that get accidents and those that go to the hospital, for example, mu 2023 twafuna accident emitwalo 16, but only 37% of those people went to the hospital. Whereas the 63% baragawa, did they die? Yeah? Did they become lame? Did they go insane? Did they just disappear? Did they burn in the cars? Where did they go? You get, because even the thing that happened recently, that's also a traffic road injury. But how many people died? Nobody even knows up to now. And all that. So for you to be safer, according to what the report is, and if you want to look at the report, their website is uniph.go.ug. So it's the Ugandan National Institute of Public Health. You can go there, report here, JD. You can read it for yourself and interpret it in your way. But I find that for the love of cars, if you can afford a car, this is your time. This is the calling right now. Of course, next year we'll be seeing the report from this year. But as we start 2025, because it's coming, your chance to actually mitigate any chances of you getting an accident. This goes to parents that put their kids on borders to go to school. Of course, there are chances of you getting accidents still on foot, but their chances are less, because when you look at the report, for example, it's only like 21% of the total injuries that come from pedestrians, yet 55% come from motorcycles. And the guys that now you're raising 10 million, you want to buy a BMW, and a BMW is a bay, you want to buy a motorcycle here, that's something that 53% of the time you're in danger. And according to 2023, 55% of the time you are in danger of getting an injury. So if you can, you reduce your chances by 83% eyokufa. Kakati mwe bagaya bagala okugula pichi oyagala okute milioni zo 7 oyagala ozigulemu pichi oze moroka yo 7 ejja kuba nvundu. Owe moroka yo 7 ajja kuwangala okusinga mukama bwaba mukwatiddeko. Omuntu okutula obutuzi mu moroka ajjawo chances okufuna accident ebitundu 83 ku buli 100. Gwe kasitotula ku pichi oti nove waka. Ebitundu 5 mu 5 ku 100 obo okumenye ko okugulu okufuna injury oba no okufa. So that's what the report has to say. And of course in other news, just for us to kuyungawo, General Andrew Guti and the State Minister for Foreign Affairs bafunye accident nga batambula babadde bagenda bava Kampala nga bagenda Gulu. They got an accident on the road, and this is interesting. This is very interesting. I just want you to share what you think about this. So Andrew Guti, who is a general, and the State Minister for Bamita John Molimba and other MPs and army officers bafunye accident. They were on the Kampala Gulu Highway. The Luwero Kafu section has been talked about as dangerous. So if you're driving on the Gulu Highway between Luwero and the Kafu, and this is the place where you can go really fast, kind of dangerous. So a bus crashed into 4 cars and people got injuries. Nobody died, and hopefully by now nobody else died, because this accident happened yesterday. And the comments that have been happening on this piece of news, I saw an ex-post where someone was saying that, oh, General Andrew Guti, and of course it was General Andrew Guti that was talked about. For you that don't know, General Andrew Guti was in charge of the court martial some time ago, and he's the one that sentenced a lot of political guys, including Honorable Chaguranyi. Nagamba, they were in possession of guns, and people are saying it's alleged that it's untrue, of course. Kati ye sentencing anga, and then people were commenting, Ugandans mwagwamu dali nsonyi omuntu afuna accident nemutagamba bambi sorry. People were saying, is the car okay? People were saying, is the car, how do you say is the car okay? Go omuntu afunya accident. But of course this is something that gets us to reflect. I totally understand when you're in the line of duty, reflection might not be something that you have as an option, but ebintu byetukola bimala ntikati wetutuse ate Gen Z is going to be worse. But millennials bagezaako kubeera open bw'omukola ekibinga ayogera, but Gen Z is going to be worse. Nti abantu abali mu big offices in government buli kyokola buli kyoyogera ku TV, banange the internet keeps video bubeerayo babutereka. So you say something today and leave a different way next week, people will bring back that video bagambe wakola kino lwaki toyimira ku kigambo kyo. You treat people badly right now, they will also be bad to either you or your children or your grandchildren, and things will come back. So I'm not saying that General Guti was bad, but that's how people feel. That what he did in the general court martial was not good, was not friendly, and that's why probably we see that these unfriendly remarks are coming out. We saw the unfriendly remarks with Bamwita Anyono. You see how fast we forget people. yani ono yali Geno yali yavaamu eriiso bamuyita Geno eritumwine. You saw how unfriendly people were, and it's not a very good Africanacity. Wano mu Buganda, yensonga lwaki former president Milton Obote said a good Muganda is a dead one is because that in Buganda bw'ofaayo nobody says anything bad about you. It's changing ennaku zino abantu tebakuziika na kuziika tebajja, and on top of takuziika bayinza okukwata ekizina nayagenda oyo abadde mubbi. You remember when Sobby died here, people were saying kata akawala kuyogeza ki ku mawulire mutata wange abadde mulunyi abadde atta bantu. So it's something for us to reflect on, be better people, treat people better in whatever way we can. And so sorry for General Guti and the State Minister for Foreign Affairs and the soldiers that were involved. Now abadde mu basi, that should not be something that anyone goes through. It's a traumatic experience. And it takes some time to go away from us. I hope that and pray that you guys recover. And when you recover, probably I hope that you get to go through the comments, Geno. And when you go through the comments, it can help you to reflect. And if you saw Bamita Afande Omara yetonze. You remember Afande Omara mu walk to work. Afande Omara yali very dangerous man. Nga izo Uganda ndi mukodomi wa Buganda yalemesa Dr. Chiza Besigye okuva ewaka. But Afande Omara ali ku kitanda bambi olumbe lumubaze embirizi yagambye yasindise mutabani we naga agenda ogamba abantu benasubya bonna bansonyiwe. Afande Omara nze tolina kye wankola naye engeri gye watwetondedde ffenna nange nkusonyiye kati gwe sikuyinaako mutawane agwa Afande Omara kati wano abantu tebakuyinaako mutawane, but people were saying that Afande Omara talina buzibu. Afande Omara yalinga agira nga alemesa Kiza Besigye okuveewo naye nga ayogera but these are orders from above, please go. Awe na Afande Omara mu video nga ali mu kwegayira Dr. Kiza bambi ddayo ewuwo lwaki ondeetera ebizibu. But he was a dangerous man during walk to work. Anyway, accidents happen because of overspeeding, guys. Wobera Express sigara mu speed limit which is 100 kilometers, and I know Oluwero Kafu navuga wokoe you can go fast so genda up to 140 because world is smooth. And that's why probably people get a lot of accidents there. So as you're driving the Gulu Highway, I want to again, they have even identified dark spots. Bagenze batekamu obupande nga bagamba dangerous spot ahead, slow down. Kati kyendowooza kye balina okuteeka balina teekamu basirikale abakwata speed. Ojja kwesanga nga obubenje bukendeera. And today's comparison, we are going to look at the Toyota Regius. Now, if you're looking at a van, buying a van, right now, you don't have a lot of money, you have 15 million, you have 10 million, 12 million, and you're looking to buy a van, a very affordable van. Itagenda kuwa buzibu, it's powerful enough and it's multi-purpose. It's the Toyota Regius. Now, the Toyota Regius was introduced in the early 1990s, and it came replacing the Light Ace. Toyota kuba nuwa ya replacing the Dudus. Kati bainanga zichigegeza abwe kamunye. Kati then they introduced this Regius as a luxury version of those cars. And it, of course, it competes with the Granvia and it competes with the Super Custom. But now the Regius meant to be something that doesn't look so commercial, yet it can be commercial and it can give you a bit of luxury. And then, of course, later it was replaced by this Jimwaga new Alphard, Walione Velfire. So, but then before those cars came, there we had the Regius. And the Regius comes with two engines. Now, those are the cars that we're going to look at. The Regius comes with a 2.7 petrol engine, which is called the 3RZ, and it also comes with a 3-liter turbocharged 1KZ, which is the same engine that comes in the Granvia. It also comes in the Super Custom. You get. Now, these two cars will literally serve the same purpose. Nti zonna osobola okuzivuga n'ovuga family yo, n'otambula gy'olaga, n'otikka abantu bangi. They can also be commercial, and of course the Indians and the Chinese here that have supermarkets, and the ones that have shops, they use the Regius vans and the Granvia vans and the Super Customs to move their products. It's not very heavy products though. So and I'm sure there are so many people that want to start let's say shuttles. You want to pick people from the airport, or you just want a van for home. Now, the most affordable right now, much more affordable than the Super Custom, much more affordable than the Alphard, yet very, very reliable, something that will not die on you, will be the Toyota Regius. Now, let's dive into seeing what comes with them. Now, let's look at the engine specifications. First of all, that comes with the engine. Now, before we go there, kumanya nti emotoka zino zisigala zitwala kyekimu. It takes 3 people in the seat that is really behind. In the middle seat, it takes 3 people and 1 other passenger in the front. So that's a total of 7 passengers and 1 driver. So it's a 7-seater. It has a lot of headroom, almost like a Nua, but then it's much more luxurious than the Nua. When you sit in the seats, they hug you, they are very soft, they're cushy and all that. It has air conditioning both in the front and in the rear, giving you very good climate control. It has very good suspension that is good for all our roads. It's the kind of suspension that you like. Most of them will come with 15-inch, 16-inch, and 17-inch wheels, depending on what you like. You can literally exchange them. Some of them come with the sunroof, others don't come with the sunroof. But overall, the one thing that I found that people like about them is that so they could put all the children in there. Most Hajis, if they did not have a Prado TX, then they had one of those vans or a super custom. So let's look at the engines. Now, we have 2 engines that we are looking at. We are looking at the 3RZ petrol, which is a 2.7 inline 4 engine. Yeah, 2.7, it has 4 cylinders. Then we have a 3-liter diesel, 1KZ. Still, it's a inline 4 engine, but it's turbocharged. It has a turbo. And in terms of power, horsepower, the petrol engine will give you more power, even when it's 2.7 liters. It gives you 150 horsepower, yet the diesel one, the 3-liter, gives you 130 horsepower. But what's the difference between the petrol and the diesel engine is that the petrol engine works at higher revs, yet the diesel engine works at low revs. So what does that mean? It means that the diesel engine gives you more torque. It gives you more torque. What do we mean torque? The diesel engine gives you 330 Newton meters, yet the petrol engine gives you 240 Newton meters. Atinga with the petrol oba waguru oba mu RPM 14 ngati wana mu diesel oba mu RPM 12. What does this mean? You guys have seen taxi guys when they are driving. Bwaba atandika motoka, the manual cars, asolo gitandikira mu number 3, even the lorry guys, asolo tandikira mu number 3. Wala ate ya petrol oba ngovuga petrol manual, kizibu nnyo gitandikira mu number 3. Abasinga batambikira mu number ki? Mu number emu. What does that mean? The petrol engines give you a lot of power at very high revs. The diesel engine gives you a lot of power at very low revs. You guys get what I'm saying? Eh? We look at fuel efficiency. The petrol engine, the one in the Regius, when new, will give you 8 to 10 kilometers per liter, depending on how much you have loaded it. Yet the diesel 1KZ engine gives you 10 to 12 kilometers per liter. Now, one thing you guys need to understand, these don't happen in Uganda. The KZ engine, it became what, 6 to 8 kilometers per liter. Why? Tabozi beera nchafu, air cleaner temuzikyusa, service mulwawo kumukola, emipira tejenkana, olinya nnyo. So you will find that the fuel efficiency sometimes doesn't work like that. Now, what happens if we're comparing these 2 versions of the Regius, the one that has a 2.7 liter petrol engine and the one that has a 3-liter diesel engine, one that is turbocharged? One, if you're moving within the town, togenda walanyo, like the Indians and Chinese that are in the country, because the Indian will be living at Buganda Road and having a shop in Chikubo. So that person, the diesel engine, will definitely die on you. So ngate, if you're the kind of person ngabo uraba Arthur, I'm actually considering probably getting myself like a diesel car. I drive a very long distance. So if you're a kind of person that drives long distances, then getting yourself a diesel car might be good. It gives you better fuel efficiency over long periods of time, and then it just performs better when you're loading ngojirinyo mulilongo ogenda okitegeera. So diesel, if you're getting yourself a Regius, consider getting petrol bobovuga in town. Consider getting a diesel if you're driving in a diesel if you're doing mostly highways. And that's why most of the people that buy diesel cars and they live in town, nkolira ntinda mbeera bukoto mbeera ntinda mbeera kisasi nkolira mu kibuga Kampala, you don't even drive 10 kilometers. That's why most of the diesel cars die on you. Okitegeera zibafaako lwa nsonga tefuna budde butambula nga bwe ina kutambula. Diesel cars take a very long time to heat up okubuguma, yet petrol cars take a very short time. And you guys ogula diesel simply because you think it's going to save you fuel, and then you end up wasting a lot of money. So if you don't drive long distances, get yourself a petrol Regius, and if you drive long distances, get yourself a diesel Regius. Now, one thing you need to understand, diesel and petrol kumpi chechimwa Kampala ebeye. So if there's a distance of only 2 liters, there's no reason why you're getting a diesel car thinking because even the maintenance is high. Now, if you compare the diesel Regius and the petrol Regius, the diesel Regius will require you to service the turbo injectors, very expensive oils. Of course, now the service range of the number of kilometers you have to drive to service a diesel are more than the number of months or number of kilometers you have to drive before you service petrol. You might end up servicing a petrol 2 times before you service a diesel. But then, yes, the expense is a lot. And most of the times, diesel cars die in Uganda because the people that own diesel cars don't service them the right way. Ogendo kwesanganga, you servicing a diesel car, you need about 600,000. People want to spend 200. So they cut shortcuts, they cut corners and all that. That's why diesel cars die. But most of you guys should be getting yourself petrol. Mugene mfune 3RZ, 2.7 liter. That's why most of the time when you go to find Regiuses, you find them in very good condition. The UK government warned drivers that they are going to fine them up to £1,000 for not using SC as they go to the cold season. Kakati mwabatagala okozesa SC owoza simanya esampisa bubi simanya nyinara je ono derika owoza simanya my nose gets dust simanya because bitya a UK they can fine you up to £1,000 right now. Do you know what £1,000 means for us Ugandans? A pound I think has about 5k in Ugandan money. So if it's £1,000, that's 5 million shillings. Why? Because you're putting other road users in a danger. What happens when it's raining or when it's cold and you're not using AC? You get mist. Because you breathe out carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide puts the mist on the glasses. So the UK is going to fine people up to £1,000. If you're in the UK, Gamuganda wange Seth Kagaba ali bungereza oli bungereza oyagala ovuge moruka natokozeza SC bwobadde tonakiwulya kati nze wo Uganda nkigambye. As we're heading into the rainy season, something that you guys should figure out is you need to master how to drive in these conditions, especially off-road. We have guys that drive Mercedes-Benz, which is a rear-wheel drive. We have guys that drive Mark X, Mark 2 Grand. Yeah, so many rear-wheel drive cars. Chigeges. Today in the morning, as I was coming, omusajja wa Fesalo ngo wa taxi avuga mu estate. Namulidenga alwana ne motoka. Then there is a section of my road as well that is bad. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I'm going to fix it. Tugenda kola bulungi bwansi. Nyina mara mgunene ye wangu naleka ngena mwekolerako. Paka government bwe lisalawo negambe wa Arthur katugende tukoleyo alekira okutwogerera. Nenga era bba makubo besa agabaga koleko. Naddala fa abogezi bajja batukoleko ffe tusirike. Nenga kati enchangenda tugenda kwata nkumbi tukole bulungi bwansi. But while we are in this rainy season, what are you going to do? You are going to learn how to drive. First of all, before you enkube tonya, like today morning, enkube tonya kufasanga musanvu paka kumacha. Look at the road you're going to. As a matter of fact, me, I changed the route because one of the routes I use is normally slippery. So I use the route that is not slippery. If you have 2 options of roads to use the one that you know to be less slippery, because your car can easily slip off the road when it's not a matter of how skilled you are. It can go to a ditch, it can knock a person. So look for roads that are not so slippery. Now, when you go to the